Hi, everyone. Welcome to the November session of Boulder Insights Tableau Live. We're so thrilled that you could join us today. And we're looking forward to trying to answer any questions that you have that have come up that we might be able to help you with. And if you don't have questions, we'll be happy to show you some tricks of the trade that we use at our company to be able to try to help educate and help you learn Tableau. Our goal at Boulder Insight is always for you to be the masters of your own data, that we often call ourselves Tableau ninjas, and we want you to be the ninjas as well when you join. So we want to try to give you the skills that you need to continue to master your Tableau data and your data visualization, data analytics needs. Read a really interesting article yesterday about the difference between a data scientist and a decision scientist. And when you're really thinking about the decisions, and I know with the elections, we still don't have answers to what's happening this week, but there's decision desks. And so one of the things we really want to help you all do is to be able to make educated decisions based on data, where you start with a question, you go and dig into that data, and you build out your visualizations to start to uncover insights. And once you're done with that, you have answers to the initial question you have, and you usually dive deeper into it. So just a week or two ago, I was there's a competition called Go Code Colorado with the Secretary of State here in Colorado, and I was teaching that methodology. So we'll go through that at some point today as well, but I don't want to delay the questions that we have from people that have already joined. So welcome to all of you that are here. For those of you who just joined, use the chat for any questions you have. I'm also putting in the link, because I don't think you can see the chat messages from earlier once you join, for a question form for Boulder Insight that you can also put in questions. So Chris, we're so glad you could join as well. And it's so exciting to see some of our clients' faces and some new faces as well. So this is always a great way for us to stay connected and work with you all. So Stephen, you had a question. Do you want me to read it off, or do you want to come off mute and ask the question yourself? Either way is fine with me.
Yeah, I can ask it, I guess.
Okay, great.
Sometimes when I've got a workbook open and I've got a worksheet and I want the exact, it's already developed, and I want the exact same thing but with a different data set. So I do duplicate sheet, and then it has the connections to the old one. But I noticed that because it's got the connections to the old one, so how do I change that to the new data set without changing all the other all the other worksheets? That makes sense.
Yeah, Chris.
It does.
You want me to share that one, or you want
Sure. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ways you can do that one, actually.
Maybe. Here, let me share my screen. So yeah, that one is pretty simple. I'll show you really quick here. Trying to get, if I can share, boom, share. Okay, here we go. So I'll just connect to Superstore. Want to have saved here. We'll just build something. Actually, this would be great. We'll do so a couple key things here are I have some things that I've already built, right? I've got these calcs. Overall rank is built. Whatever. I'll just throw some things out here real quick. Just make this look like something. Okay. And I'll put overall rank up here too. Okay. So we had this built. So to your point, if you pull in a new actually the data source. So what you would do, you would pull a new data source and say, I'm pulling Excel. I'm going to go to my documents, Tableau repository, data sources, and I'm going to connect to basically the same file, just it's going to be a different version, right? So I'm pulling out 2019.4. So it's a different version of the same stuff. I'll even call it, 2019 Super Store. Okay, so I want my orders table. Here we go. Create an extract. Click back. Okay, and save somewhere. All right. So so now I have my one that's existing and my old one. All you have to do is if you right click on your old one, and so sometimes if they come in with the same name, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do this step because it makes it easier. I'll kind of rename this one first, and I'll say my superstore, you know, old, just so I know which one I'm gonna actually get rid of, because if you have a lot of sheets, sometimes it gets really confusing really quick. You just right click and say replace data source. Okay. Here, let me actually do one thing. I want to show you one of the things going to happen to you. So if I choose region here, I'm just going to color it something different. Just color it by this one. Okay, so I got some weird colors happening for my region here. Whenever I switch out these data sources, so again, I'll right click and I'll replace data source. So I'm going to go old as my current. I want to replace with the new. So that's gonna do this. So this one broke, right? So this doesn't exist. So this is something that happens often, right? So I want to go look at my old one. So I had a product subcategory here, and this one says it doesn't actually exist, and it's probably because it's just named something different. And then what it could possibly be, it didn't have that, I guess. This one. Oh, here it is. So it's now actually named to this. So all you have to do is, I don't have to rebuild. I can right click on this field and so say replace references, and I'll just search for that one that I want to go to. So product or sub category. Okay. So now that's going to switch it out. Now if I had 1,000 sheets, it wouldn't matter. So each one that goes for. The only thing that doesn't fix, by the way, is I have seen that whole replace references. If you're referencing that field that broke in some calculations, sometimes it doesn't replace it inside the calculation. Also, I thought it would do this. Maybe it didn't because of the name. It's because it's the same type. If it would be a different data type, I've seen it where it will drop my colors and take me back to the default. So very often we'll do some extra work where we have these QA stories that we build. So one of the QA stories we try to build for every dashboard, if we have time, is one that gives us all of our whole formatting options. So if I have taken time to to go in and build a certain color palette for Zula, right? And I know that's their color palette. Well, sometimes replacing these is kind of a pain. So I may have, okay, sheet one for region, we're going to use this blue, this green, this blue, and this pink, right? So I may just list that stuff out. So, but that's pretty much how you do it. And then once you're done, just obviously close this one.
Okay, can I add on to that?
Sure.
So this sheet one, if you went down to it, right clicked on it, duplicate. And now with the sheet 1.2, I want to change the data source to the other data source.
Okay. So let's go back.
So have one for the other and one for the other data source.
Okay. So actually, how you actually do that is this, and this is going to seem strange, but the best way to do that is with a new because you want the same exact dashboard, but you want it on the other source.
Yes.
Okay. So here I'm going to show you a quick trick. So let's move them back the other way. So I'm going to do a new worksheet, and I'm just going to post something here, region, but it doesn't really matter. And we'll call this old data source. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let me file new. So to do this actually fast, you're going to need two actually instances of this open. So I'm going to put one over here on the right, and I'll put this one on the left. Okay. So what you would do is, let's say, so this is the one I want to copy. This is sheet one, and we'll put this as data source. I should name it the right thing. So we'll name it 2019 Superstore. Okay. So and I'm just going to delete this one for now because it doesn't actually exist. Right. So this one shouldn't even be there. So this is how you're starting. Right, you're starting just like this. You got this one built, and you want to have this same thing on another one, correct? Yep. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. So what you do is,
But I would like them in both the same workbook though.
got it.
Yeah.
So copy over here, paste over to this guy. You know, this is going to give you the same thing you have. So now you do the same trick I just showed. So data, new data source, Excel, sample superstore. This is the new one. New. Okay. Now we do. Extra. Oh, I didn't put a table in there. Guess I didn't tell it to do anything. Orders. That would help. All right, there we go. All right, so now I've got these done. So now I can do my key swap, right? So now I could do my replace data source. I want to replace with this one with the new. That's correct. I know that subcategory. I guess I've already fixed that. That's already working. So now this is on this other one. So now I can just copy this one back. So now I want to name it. I want to rename it first. Maybe call it just new. So now it's on the new one. So now I take this guy and copy it back over here. And now it's done. So now I have this one is on the new. This one is on the old.
Okay, perfect. That works pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good trick. Thank you.
Slick tricks there, Chris. I know sometimes it's not totally intuitive. And so Chris has lots of workarounds after doing this for over a decade. So great questions. I'm not seeing many questions in the chat just yet, but we did have a question yesterday, Chris, in the Tableau Live Slack channel. So let me pull that one up and I'll read that off to you. And Austin already did some work. He took a little break from his brain function from his work on client work and got excited about this data problem, which is why I love Austin so much, that he just gets super excited about data questions and handles it from there.
I can look at it because I saw he answered it. So.
Yep, right. So I'm just trying to pull that up right now. Sorry, I'm scrolling through it. I thought I had it pulled up as it was. Oh, I'm not in the right. I'm on the wrong channel. Got to go to training questions. There you go. Great. And I'm seeing a couple more questions coming through. So here's the question, and I'll move this over to the screen and show my screen for a second. And then it's in the training questions file.
Okay.
And I'll share my screen.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I can take control of it. All right, return to meeting here. So the question is I need to find a distinct count of a field based on whether it meets one of two criteria: combination of address and phone, or combination of address and TIN. So if an address has multiple, let me get these out of the way, sorry. So if an address has multiple phone numbers, but a single tax ID, it is counted as one location. Or if an address has a single phone number and multiple tax IDs, it's also counted as one location. How do I go about doing this? So I will copy this formula into the chat as well for you all. And Chris, I'll put that in chat. And if you want to walk through Austin's logic, and I'll hit enter on that. But just so the rest of you have that same logic that is in the chat now for you. And then I will pull up the other questions that are coming into the Slack channel too.
I'm trying to see if we could use the same formula and do it against something we have. So, okay, we have multiple, we have tens. I'm trying to think we could use like Superstore that would have the same level of stuff, like so customers, right? As a customer could order once, right? So in this way we could do customer name against like email.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think about what I could use to replace these out.
I wonder if
let me see.
I've got some sales training data, Chris, I could put a link to for you as well that might It has
Yeah.
address and email. I think you've got all that though.
Yeah, I need to know kind of the whole relationship, right? So let me go back to the question again, because I think that's where it's going to come out. Okay, so distinct count of fields based on whether it meets a certain criteria combination of address and phone, or combination of address and TIN. Okay, so if the number has a single tax ID is counted location, multiple tax IDs. So count as one location. Here, let me just share my screen and we'll just kind of walk.
Yep, go for it. And I'm gonna,
I don't know that I'm going to be able to come up with a data set that'll do it exactly, but I can walk through the logic at least. I'll share the wrong screen, sorry. So there we go. Okay. Okay, so this is his logic that he had. Let me put this bigger. You can all see it. Okay, so I'll just kind of break this apart here. So he's saying, okay, well, first off, let's skip the count D for a second. Let's talk about this one. So he's saying, okay, fixed on the address, he wants to count D of the phone numbers. So this one is just going to say, okay, at the level of the address, I want to count the number of phone numbers. So if one address had multiple phone numbers, it would be, or if it had two, it would be two. If it had five, it'd be five. If it had one, it'd be one. So this is going to give me the count of that. So now it's saying, okay, if that number, so we'll just say, we'll use for our example, we'll say, address has 4 phone numbers. Okay, so that's kind of the example we're going to use. So that will be greater than 1. That's the next thing we're going to test for. So if that is greater than 1, which in this situation it is, okay, and we want to look for, so that's one piece, and we want to look at the count of number of 10 is equal to 1. Okay, so this is going to say they have multiple phone numbers, but only one 10. So if that happens, then we're going to count. Then we're going to give you the address plus the dash plus the 10. That's going to give us one answer. Then, so if that doesn't be the case, so if it doesn't have, so if our answer was one phone number and even 110, it actually wouldn't fall into this. Does that make sense? So that would be our else. So if it was 4, it would. If it was 1 here, it wouldn't. Or if this was 0. Okay. And the second part, fixed address count phone is equal to 1. It's the same thing. So let's just say we have one phone number, and our fixed address count 10 is greater than 1. Okay. So one phone number, but actually multiple 10s. We then give you the whole address plus the phone number. That's basically it. Else, if it's neither one of those, then it's just going to give you the address, and then we're going to wrap that entire thing with just count a distinct. So I think it kind of makes sense. I wish I had the data set to just put it actually against, but hopefully whoever asked the question can copy and paste that out of the chat and just try it really quick and see if that works.
If it was Adrienne that asked the question, and she's not on the call right now. So hopefully through the recording, and I'll email her the answer.
Perfectly then.
Yeah.
So, if she can't say anything other than that, I think it's just going to work.
That's great. Well, I will be sure to email Adrienne this answer after the call as well. And yeah, I don't know if we wanted to try to replace address and phone. I think it's going to just be a little bit different. You could try zip or something. Oh, we don't even have postal code, do we? But yeah, we do have postal code. But yeah, I don't know, Chris. But yeah, it's hard when we don't have the actual data to do it. But at least the breakdown of understanding why the calculation was written the way it was, I think can be really helpful for everybody to see that. So we have another question in the channel from Kenneth. And he's asking, and let me put the question into the chat as well, just so everybody can keep a track of that. I'll put that in a second. Have you guys and insights, any insights on how to set up a Tableau site navigation that best serves clients? Right now, our navigation makes people feel like they forget where they found that report. So questions around Tableau site navigation, Chris. So thinking we're going to Tableau server here.
Yeah. So if you're using sites, sites are great, but I also think that they're overused. So back, I don't know what version it came out, but at some point in time, Tableau didn't let you go down in these whole projects, right? So you had to let me just pull up our server. So back in the day, you didn't really have here we go. Let's go in here real quick. Okay.
And
So
Kenneth is on the call, Chris, too. So Kenneth, if you have things to add to your question after Chris goes through, feel free to come off mute too.
I guess kind of the best way is if you have users that are using something, let's just go to our templates one for example. So I think the best thing to do is have them mark them as favorites. Really is kind of your best bet, because that way that gets them here. The problem is that you can't. I don't think you can search across sites. So if you're coming into the server and you have access to multiple sites, then I think that gets tough. Like if I was going to look for AARP, I don't. That doesn't exist here, but I know it exists here. So I know actually look for housing domain. I don't think that's going to exist. HOS, HOUS. So yeah, that doesn't exist. So you can't search across sites. So that's going to make it tough. I think what I would tell you to do is to kind of make your sites, really for departments or for clients at a much at a level that's actually much higher level. And then once you get inside, now this is something new Tableau has. We can do actually project folders. So if I wanted to go, I want to do a sub project, right? So I'm inside the new project folder and I can create another one. So sub new project. So this is something that didn't actually exist for a long time. And so that was why people a lot of times used sites, because they needed that like nested level. But now you can do that without now. So I can now nest things under, which is nice. And there's another project folder under this one. So that makes it so your search will work, because now you're only searching one site. If you had things split up between multiple sites, then it needs to be at a level that makes sense. So does that answer your question, Kenneth?
Yeah, I was going to say, we have not really encouraged the use of search for finding things. We were trying to make the home page be more like one click to everything you need. And that's a lot of reports, as you might imagine, that can scale out. Because we're serving the sales department and trying to just make it easy for them.
Yeah. I think I think I kind of have to see what you got.
Sure.
The other thing that we typically do is you could make them. Let me just show you this one. It's a quick example of so instead of giving them multiple dashboards, give them one dashboard that is your navigation. So if you're a sales team, they're only going to ask a handful of things. So like on this one, I've got a bunch of different dashboards, so I can click on this one and then go to that one, right?
Yep.
So instead of having them all spread out and they have to remember what's what, just give them one spot to go, and then they click back and then go to something else, right? So
I would definitely, Chris, I'd definitely still do that at the department level, right? Because like you said, the sales team's always going to have the same questions. The marketing team's always going to have the same questions and need the same resources. So if you function at the department level, I think you're going to be successful.
Yeah. So I think just doing that and just having things named, something that's actually logic. I mean, something that that's kind of logical. The other thing I would tell you is, and if you don't already have this done, is if your sales team has access to it. So a lot of times I see people have like versions of stuff inside their Tableau server. So what I would do is have let me just go back here real quick. Go back to the templates one. We already had a folder here. So let's just say that I had, it's I had this new project. I'm just gonna call this sales, right? So the sales team could come into here, and then inside of this folder, we would have like a prod, and we would have dev, right? And so anything that's new or if it's like an archive, something like that. So something that's old. So that way, hey, I want to get to that old report. That's what's going to kind of live here, right? Or if it's something that's blessed, the numbers are true, it's going to be there. If it's something that's kind of working around, it's going to be in actually dev. And then maybe your salespeople don't have access to dev. That's if you're your
security group
creators, right? But just setting up a folder structure that's logical helps. And then that, and just having things named like very consistently. So you have some sort of naming convention that makes sense to everybody.
So Chris, way back when, I don't know that this is even possible now with sites. We did some HTML wrappers for clients. Yeah. Is that another method that they might want to consider for this?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I probably have one of those somewhere. Let me see if I even. I think I have one laying around.
No, it was like
do this
6 years ago or something. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna find a good one. I think demos. Yeah, this is one. It's not like a great one, but this kind of gives you an example. So it should come up over here. I don't know why it's not.
I think it was Jim Beam or something, if I recall.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of these things. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so the thought is that you can use the whole trust authentication. So like this left pane is just this web page, and then this over here is going to be like an embedded link for your whole server, right? So that way your sales team only has to come to one spot, and then you just have the things that they would need right here. And I don't know why it's not showing up. It's driving me crazy. I've used this a long time, but that's kind of the other thought, is doing that.
Right.
So that way, they don't have to go into the Tableau server. You have to go somewhere else. So if you have some sort of a portal, a lot of people have what's the not Microsoft Teams, but what's like that portal?
SharePoint.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so a lot of people have a SharePoint, and so they'll use that as their place to embed. So if your sales team is using Salesforce, then that's a great place to do it. So while they're in there putting in their leads or doing their sales, just show them their dashboards there. Don't make them go somewhere else.
Right. I like that suggestion a lot. Yeah, we're actually using an Interworks. If you're familiar with them, they have like their embedded dashboards product. We're using something along those lines, and it's still a bit of a mess.
Yeah. All right.
Nope. Thank you for that. It's good to see how other people are tackling it.
Yep.
Thanks, Kenneth. So we have another great question from Ray. And Chris, you won't believe what he's asking about. We just got off a call all about this, talking about LTV, so lifetime value. So here's Ray, if you want to come off mute, I can let you ask the question, or I can read it. I'll read it, and then I'll let you come off mute to add to it. How about we do it that way? We were just working on LTV. Oh, that's what I was reading. Hang on. Let me get back to that. I'm doing an LTV analysis, but want to limit the number of months for look backs. For example, I'm looking at the groups by first order month and want to create a parameter to limit the look back by however many months a user selects. I have a stacked bar chart that totals the total number of customers in a month and is colored by first order. It's not a good comparison to see the drop off of first order month 6 months ago versus 2 months ago. So Chris, I also put this in the Tableau questions Slack channel.
And Chris, I don't know if I described that good or not. I also put a screenshot of the dashboard.
Yeah, if you could give me that would definitely help.
I don't really want to filter by first month of order purchase or by the month, but I really would like to filter by like the number of months that has passed. So it's not really fair to look at May has 6 months of revenue where August only has 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to make a dashboard that I've got clean so I can show it to you. It doesn't have any customer obvious
I
stuff.
have months on the column, total revenue on the rows, and then I am coloring by first order month.
Hey, Chris, I put the screenshot in the training question Slack channel as well. But this is exactly what we were working on today, but we just can't show the client data or they'll take my firstborn. But
No, that makes sense. It just doesn't seem from a lifetime value analysis that
Yeah.
you should be comparing more recent months of revenue to months that I've had customers that have been customers for a long time.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. So literally we just did this
Awesome.
last call. And it's I'm just looking to see if I can here. Yeah, let me share my screen. This is maybe actually funny. It's so actually funny.
You guys crack me up, by the way.
Okay. So this is actually not your data, but it looks a lot like it.
Yeah. Is the quarter the first month?
Yeah, because
Oh, cool. Wow.
first that quarter, right? So the 945 people that bought this quarter, 344 of them bought the next quarter. 347 of the 945 bought the quarter later, right?
Oh, sweet. That's a great returning customer rate.
It is, yeah.
So
Well, big drop off at the first, but then
so here's actually what you actually want, right? Like this. So it's the same chart, except what you need to know, and then the part I'm going to try to do, I think this is what you're going to need, is you need to know the actual retention rate going forward, right? So and the part I haven't done, I only did it a different way. Was it this one?
Yep, you got it.
So this is it doesn't look good yet. But
okay, yeah, I've created one similar to this as well, I think.
this is going to be your answer. Just actually done as a percentage. Percent of total. I don't have it looking good yet, but this is going to be and table down, right? So this is actually might be from the first. That's not going to be exactly right, but anyway, I think this is the right number. And when we get percentage, it's a little bit harder to understand, but you got to just validate those numbers. But it's generally this. So what actually percentage is actually purchasing, month over month. So the people that bought here first, their actually rate of retention is, out of this far out, we have 8% of those customers are still ordering, right? Versus the customers here now, they're one quarter shorter, but they're only 650. Really,
but even looking at that 8.25 compared to the 13.01, that would be the comparison.
No, so it should be going this way. So this one compares to this. Cover getting away. I'm gonna get that off. Full tip.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah. So I need to kind of do an offset function so that actually compares because you don't. I mean, and this is what we were going to go on our last call is I was arguing with the client because they were saying, well, time matters. And I'm like, time only matters from what marketing you were running at that time. It doesn't matter from the life cycle of a customer because the first purchase that the customer purchases, that's the same for this group, right? So what I want to know is from the first purchase, what is the percentage of their second month or second quarter in this one, right?
Yeah.
So I want to line all these up so that what I've got selected is really in one column.
And you think you'll just do, how do you plan on executing that? You said some sort of offset function?
Yeah, there's, so I've done this a couple times. You can use.
Would it be similar to a lookup?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so that's kind of it. You use the whole lookup -1. We'll kind of pull everything back. I haven't, I mean, literally, we just started working on this today, so I haven't done it yet, but when we get it done, I may write up a kind of a study on it and like put a video out on it.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept. I started building really similar dashboards to what you have going on here, and it's a lot of fun to work on, but
Yeah.
definitely kind of some confusing things you need to think about and make sure you communicate clearly.
And I can't really show you that one yet. Sorry. And I was trying to show you one other thing that I think is cool. Let me stop sharing so I can get rid of some
Okay.
client specific stuff. It's gonna look like I mean, I hate really even showing you this, but because it doesn't look good yet, but you know how it is. So
Yeah, that's fine.
so I think this one is super cool. Is the percent of customers that ordered at least twice. So 42% ordered at least twice. 27% ordered at least three times. So, and then I can say, okay, I can highlight these and tell you, okay, well, of the people that ordered 3, most of them have ordered a subscription, and then some not. So really, the bulk of the people that order 3 times are in this whole cohort, right? Yeah. And then also we have the value, the spend per customer of the people that ordered 3. So I think it's no surprise that the more a customer orders, the better they are. But to know, I think to get that in your head and to know that you're trying to drive toward that, because we look at this and I'm like, my first thing is, okay, well, 58% of your customers do not reorder.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, and it's something that you really have to kind of try to figure out.
Yep.
Do you prefer that over a Pareto chart then? I think what I did is I did a Pareto chart for that, which was frequency on the bottom and then a line graph on the top, which was percent of total.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually a great way to do it. Just for this kind of specific client, they're actually asking some specific questions, so we're trying to hit those head on first. So that's kind of where I'm at in this cycle. But I think
I might try to build it your way as well, though, with the percent just on top of the bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks. I think you definitely gave me some good ideas, and then also some confirmation that I'm doing things semi correctly.
Yeah, you are. You're rocking.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks, Ray. And we do have one more question, Chris, from from our attendees today. Alberto's asking, I do have a question. I've been struggling regarding table calculations and LODs. We are looking at rating data for health plans nationally in about 25 categories. We need to be able to filter by state and plan and get the national percentile rank for that plan for the state for each of the 25 categories. How can we get the national percentile rank given that the ranking needs to include the full national data that is filtered out? This reminds me of I guess I can't say, of the Canada, Mexico, MSA, USA data is what it's bringing it to mind. And I've put that question in the chat, and I'll put this question for everybody as well. I put it in the Slack channel too, Chris.
All right, here we go. So this is our total sales, right? So if we break this down by, actually, let's do this the right way. All right, rename total sales. And now we got sales by region. Or let's do sub category. No, color by profit. Let's put on here. Okay, so I'll throw these on this that dashboard. Subcategory. All right, so total sales subcategory. It doesn't look great. I'm not trying to make it look good yet. So the thought here is, and Kevin's probably cringing. Sorry, Kevin. So what I hear you saying is, okay, well, this is going to change. So if I'm filtering on just appliances, that's going to give me the total. So that's great. I want to know what that is, but that same number is here too. So I don't really need to know this one. I need to know of the actual total, right? And I need that to kind of be by itself. So what you can do, And I'll go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this. Actually, I won't do it that way. I'm just going to write a calculation, and we'll call it total sales. And we always like just to kind of say if we're using a level of detail. Let's put that in the thing. So I would say I want to do a fixed. And so if this is what was it again? Was that the address, or?
It was filtered by state and plan, Chris. So we're looking at rating data for health plans nationally in about 25 categories. We need to be able to filter by state and plan and get the national percentile rank for that plan for the state for each of the 25 categories.
All right, we actually have state in this one. So that's
how can we get the national percentile rank given that the ranking needs to include the full national data that is filtered out? And Alberto is coming off mute. If you want to add to that, that would be lovely.
Sure, I'm happy to explain it a little bit more. And I realize it's difficult to write it out and explain it. But essentially, there's nested data where we have all 50 states. And then within each state, there are health plans. And the health plans are ranked by a variety of metrics. And what we need to do is be able to filter for, let's say, California, Plan A, that how is that plan ranking in those 5 metrics compared to all other plans nationally? But we're already filtering just for California. So how do we get where that plan is ranking compared to what's also in Nevada and New York and everywhere else?
Right. So this is where we would do kind of a whole QA sheet. So this is your sum of sales for each one, right? And then I just wrote this total sales, or I put it in the wrong one. I just wrote that. Did I build it in this one? Did I just? All right, I'll do it again. Guess I didn't save it. It's silly. Total sales LD. Okay, so I want to fix my calculation on state, and I want to sum the sales. Okay. So this is going to give me the total by state, and it's going to sum those up. So now if I add this up here, it's going to just do it like this, right? So that kind of gives me the exact same number. So if I didn't have state on this menu, then it's just going to roll up the same way you expect. So what we can do is we really want these numbers to be different. We want this one to always give us the total. So if I took state off, it's going to give us that same total. So how we do that is, instead of doing it by state, we say we wanted to do it by the whole nation. And in this data set, if we had different countries or whatever, we could put that in. But right now we'll just say we're fixed on all. So by all, you just put in nothing. And then now I'm going to have one number throughout. So now for every row in my data set, I'm going to have the total. So now I can write a calculation, because what you're going to want to know is you're going to know like a percent of national. And I want to do my sum of sales divided by my sum of my LOD that I just wrote. And that's going to give me my percentage, right? And now I can take this off. I'll leave it on detail just to have, but this is going to give us our whole percentage.
But what I was struggling with, there was the percentile rank, which requires the ordering. And
oh yeah,
is it the 99 percentile, or is it the?
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So that one's a little bit different. Let me show you. Okay, I'll show you how that one works. So to do that, let's say I do state sales. Well, let's do it like this. And we'll do a rank calculation. For the field, rank, sales. Oh, that one, oh yeah, let me say it. summer sales. I'm not even reading the thing. I'm just going fast. That's what I did. Okay. All right. So now I've got my rank in here. Street. So I should put that in order, right? Okay. So that I think I did it the opposite way. You probably want it. I can change it real quick. So okay. So this is going to give you the rank. So tell me what you want again. You want to be able to show only one, but still know how they.
So let's say you're adding now a subcategory within state.
Okay.
And you want to rank that subcategory.
Oh, okay. So you want to
where it ranks nationally, but you only want to be able to see data for one state.
Yeah. So the C. Okay. Yeah. So you have a separate chart, and you want to see what. Yeah, I think you're right, Heather. It's just like the one we just did.
Yeah, I think it's
already done. If I could do it really quickly.
It's cracking me up.
yeah.
I've really been struggling with table calculation that require ordering.
This one's really not. Yeah, this one's really not that difficult. It's hard to build quickly here. I can so tell you what I can do. I can actually build this one offline and kind of send to you. It's really not that hard. It's just a matter of setting up the right the right pieces. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to have your filter. Let's do it. Okay, well, if you try to do it in one chart, it's going to be really hard. If you try to do it in two charts, then it'll be easier. And what you're going to want to do is, like, let's say this one was on your subcategory. So what you want to know, okay, well, this one ranks high. What are the top states for that, right? So if I put these two on the dashboard, and I say I want to create an action for this one, so storage. But I want it to be, so you can make this be a context filter. And I think I'm doing it the opposite way, but that should, there's something to that. I can't remember which way it's going to go. That's kind of think it through a little bit. But what you're going to do is you're going to have one of these on like a context filter to say, okay, filter for that item first, then do the second calculation. So if you want to know the top 10 products for each state, or you want to know it nationally, it's just a matter of which thing are you filtering first. Mm-hmm. And so that's really the trick. I don't think it's really a calculation as much as it's really just changing your filter to say, do this filter before the other one. Does that ring any bells, or is that?
I think so. I'm trying to just figure out how to implement it, because we're doing, it's actually part of a 5-page report, and the whole report is getting filtered out.
Yeah, I definitely get it. If it's something you could share with us, like, I don't know if it's super private data, or I mean we're fine.
Mock-up.
Yeah, come up with some log data for it.
Yeah, if you could do that, if you could share that with us, then we could help you get it working really quick.
And Chris, we also took that rank to get the number of 25 or whatever for it. We took that onto the filter shelf, the table calc, and then chose,
you're right.
just looking at the other clients one. But I think we can, we've definitely had to do this just recently for a client. We just can't show their data, but it's super cool. And Kev did an amazing UX design on the background, but I wish we could show that, but I don't think we can, right, Chris? That's not public facing.
Yeah, but yeah, just send us the kind of the example, and then we can do something really quick and send it back to you.
Well, do things. Where should I send it to?
Go ahead, and I'll put it in the link here. I'll give you my email address to put that in there. So no worries, Alberto, I'll put that in right now. And Chris, we have Becky on the call, and she is really interested in the QA sheets for our last question on the call. They have some complicated dashboards that are really crucial to be able to show things like pay equity and all of that. Just, I know we've been talking about the concept of QA sheets, and I believe Austin's introduced it. And so I was wondering if you might be able to talk about QA sheets in the last 7 minutes.
To get to one that I have, see if I can show it.
Show it, because to see how if we could use it,
Yeah. I'm just trying to get to, I'm trying to I've got one that's a good example of kind of how I'm thinking through it. And then let me just hide some stuff here so you can't see any client anything.
So while Chris is doing that, for the rest of you, Becky's one of our long standing clients that we love. And we've just started in the last quarter ourselves as a company, really evolving this concept of QA sheets. And so I think we can do actually a focus on that for our December Tableau Live session for sure. And what a QA sheet is, a quality assurance sheet of really, when you're exploring the data, trying to determine, first of all, if your calculations are correct, if the data is aligned properly. And so as you start to build these QA sheets out, it's a way that we can share the work that we do with our clients. And this is one of the ones that Chris is working on right now to be able to show you. So it's something we've been starting to build into our work with clients to teach them to understand their data, to also be able to show, you know, some of the complicated dashboards that are out there, that we're breaking it down into what we're starting to do is pull them into stories and kind of show our step-by-step thinking with it. So I know Chris is still trying to anonymize this. To be able to show that.
All right. Okay, let's try it one more time. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, so really the thought process is that you know, we've all kind of gotten workbooks that we've inherited from somebody else, and you know, and we've tried for years to come up with a kind of a naming convention that makes sense, you know, and it's really hard to make people follow that same naming convention or the same logic. And plus things change over time. So, and what we kind of found is that if we, you know, and also one thing is that data changes. And so a lot of times your data will change in the background and it's going to break this calculation. So we use the concept of QA sheets or QA stories. So a story is just going to be a compilation of different sheets. And we'll say, okay, well, like in this example, here's a formula that we wrote, and we want to make sure that we're looking for the right pieces. So we're going to have some, you know, so the thought process is we have kind of some examples of what we're looking for. Over here is the actual proof, and then we'll have just kind of key findings in the middle. And so we'll have kind of a template built out that kind of gives us those three sections. And we'll just have a one concept, key findings, and then proof of that was correct. So like, for example, if you're walking through the calculation on, you know, on how to do that ranking, that may be a great thing to do here because you need to prove it out. So a lot of times I was talking to Heather, I told her that, you know, it's kind of like when you're in school and, you know, your teacher says to kind of show your work. Well, if you don't show your work, then your clients feel like that, oh, this is really easy for you. No, it was really complicated. We went through about 90 steps to get here, and we're 100% sure it's right, and here's why. So QA sheets are great for just kind of systematically walking through your problems, and then knowing that you've got the data right. And then so it shows your work, and then it also makes it so it's a self-documenting process. So if in a year, if somebody else picks up the workbook and something's not working, they already have all these QA stories or QA sheets in place that walks through all, I mean, probably don't do it for every calculation, but for the ones that are really like complicated. So that's really the concept. I had one that I wanted to do, I did for a client. It doesn't look great, but it was, let me just see if I can pull that one up. It's not built out cool like this one, but it's a good way that I walked through it.
And while Chris is pulling that up, another thing that came up, it's really helpful when you're working with multiple departments. So we had a HR client, we were helping them out with their data, and they were doing tenure buckets, like how long they worked at the company. And we're like, you've got someone that has been there negative 639 days. And they're like, well, that's not possible. And using the QA sheets, we actually empowered them to take that to the data team so they could actually say, here it is, this is exactly what's going on. You know, it looks like somebody fat fingered the entries, and we've got to resolve these issues. So it's a really good way not only to kind of prove your work, like Chris is saying, but actually help champion change within a company and demonstrate where something is wrong instead of just stating something. So it's been really, really helpful.
And I would throw in there that it's not necessarily that we have an issue with going back to Boulder Insight on a regular basis, which we do all the time, and asking questions designed for us in the past. But if I'm not here,
Mhm.
you know, the only person then who knows what's going on these really complex, wonderful spreadsheets, or that, I mean, not spreadsheets, whoa, these wonderful dashboards is actually Boulder Insights, and we can't have that be that way. There's got to be some kind of documentation on there so that we can troubleshoot this ourselves as much as possible before we go running to you guys. Sorry.
No, we want, and that's exactly what we want, Becky. We want you to be empowered to be the master of your own data, right? And so we're super excited about the QA sheets. It's steps that Chris was always doing in his head, and Austin and things, and that we're really starting to document as a team and onboard and develop our own staff that we want to make sure we're doing with our clients too. So it's that old commercial where the guy is running into the office and hits his head on the filing cabinet, and then he passes out, and then the other person that was going to represent them in the meeting, she hits her head on the desk, and then you don't know who has that knowledge anymore, right? So we want to have that backup knowledge. And I think QA sheets are super powerful and super important. So we are getting to the end of our time together. It went so fast today. We love that you all have so many questions, but I did put in the chat one of the things we were talking about, how can we make November, it's been a rough few months for the world, right? We are navigating a lot in our own country. We're navigating a bunch, and we just wanted to give thanks to you all for being our clients. And you know, we started these Tableau Live sessions as a way, as I mentioned early on in the call, to stay connected. We're grateful that you're our data fam. And so we just want you to know we will be doing a drawing after today's call. And a few of you are going to win a free 30-minute session with Chris with your own data. I will be, we'll be sending out an email to you individually, and we'll send a link to be able to schedule. I'll be working with you to schedule time with you. So know that you can find us again next month. For the December first Friday of the month. We'll be doing this from now on until we don't have people showing up. So we're loving this. We're continuing to grow, more and more people coming. Remember that Boulder Insight questions form that I put the link in to the chat. I'll put in one more time. You can always ask us questions throughout the month, and if we'll answer them during the Tableau Live session. And if it's urgent, let us know it's urgent, and we'll do our best to try to help think that through with you. So if those of you who could only be here for the hour, you are welcome to go now. And Chris, if you want to finish this out, we can follow this last thought, but I just wanted to make sure you know we're doing the drawing. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, this is not built into a QA sheet yet, but this is kind of starting the process. Is, you know, a lot of times when you write these calculations, if you don't go step by step, you don't know where things are breaking down. So a common mistake I see is people putting too much in one single calculation that they can't really test things out. So in this situation, we had, okay, we have, we had the purpose was we needed to calculate the number of days from some day well, from now until the end of the month, and wanted to back out this. It's like let's the vacation days. So we have another data set that gives us the holidays, and so we need to back those out. So I just kind of walked through the logic of figuring out how I would do that. So if my anchor date was, you know, if it was actually, if 11/1/2020 was my anchor date, I would then add one month to it. So I wrote these in order of steps. So I would say, okay, my first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 month to my anchor date. So, and the reason why I do that, and I kind of spell it out here in step 2, is actually I mixed up here. I did. So this is me taking my, I'm falling back to the, where I'm taking that add 1 month, and I'm making it into the first day of the month. So I'm taking the month, I'm adding it to the first, and then I'm taking the year, right? So I'm turning that into a month. And let's make this one 11/5. So we'll see. So 12/5 is my 1 month add. 12/1 is falling back to the first of the next month. and then I subtract one day from that. And I know that seems like a lot to go to get to, okay, I'm like in like November of this year. Why would I need to go and do that? Well, the reason why I like doing it this way is because if there's any leap years or months that don't have 31 days, you don't have to calculate any of that. So I just say, okay, if you're in this month, I'm jumping to the next month. I'm going to roll back to the first day of the month, and then so then with this one, I'm going to subtract one day. That way, no matter what kind of a year it is, whatever, I'm going to get the end of the month. So that's a great way to do that. And then from there, once I've got the end of the month, then I'm calculating the actual days between. So this is the date diff, very simple, just date diff day between the anchor date and my number 3 gives us that. And then I calculate the number of actually days in there that are the whole holidays. So here I have a relationship built for my holiday data set that I'm relationshiping. I'm not sure if that's a word or what it's called, but
It is now.
Relationshiping to my that's a new form in Tableau. We probably could spend time on that about joins and relationships and the difference, but the relationship is great for this this example. And so I'm saying if my relationship date is equal to my is greater than my anchor date and or it's what if my anchor date is less than my vacation date and my vacation date is less than my end of month, then I show the date. And then I just multiply all the dates that I had by -1. So there are 2 vacation days between my anchor date and actually month end. So I'm going to subtract those out. So now I go 25 minus 2 is 23. So that is your net vacation days from the end of the month. Ta-da!
Thank you. That was great, Becky. Well, we are so grateful and thankful for you all. I actually have been drinking from a grateful mug a lot this month and just trying to remain in that space. And we're so glad that you all are part of our people. So please join us next month. Use that Boulder Insight questions form anytime and stay tuned to see who wins some free time with Chris and our team to try to help you continue to master your data. So we appreciate you all. Happy Thanksgiving and be safe out in the world. Take care, everybody.